Okay, so I'd like to remind us that there are a lot of different strategies we can use for subtracting. There's my minus sign, we're taking away, cutting away things, right? I love it if teachers can have something like this written on the board and then these post-it notes. I'm going to move it closer together so you can see them all on the screen here. But you can leave it blank at first, and then each time you learn a new strategy, you can put a new poster up under the strategies for subtraction so that kids know the name of it and they can practice that specific strategy. Always giving each new strategy a chance, even if they don't think they might like it or I already know how to do it, for example. So these are all fine different strategies. I'd love to talk about them all now, but in the interest of time, I'm going to talk about taking all from tens. Take all from tens. Another way to call that is subtracting from the 10, but this is one strategy for subtracting. It's not my personal favorite, but that's okay. Some people, this really works well in their brain for. So I want to comment that it was mentioned in the Singapore Math 1A book, but we come back to it again in the 1B book, and that's what I want to talk about now. Also, notice I have an abacus. It's really helpful to use concrete to talk about these ideas at the beginning. And I'm also going to use place value cards because that's just so important and helpful for this type of a concept. So where should we begin? Let's talk about 22 minus 3. So there's 20 and here's 2. So I love how place value cards, you can show it expanded. There's 20 and 2 makes 22. So even though this digit is 2, this 2 means 2 ones and this 2 means 2 tens. And we can actually show that here. If I want to show 22 in my abacus, there's 10, 20. And here's 2. So this 20 is the first 2 wires, and this 2 are these 2 beads here, right? So we have 22, and we're going to subtract 3, let's say. So we could write 22 minus 3. Now, the question is, how are we going to go about doing this? It could be easy to use the strategy of counting back. Notice that was definitely one of our strategies right here. So we could start with 22 and we could count back 3, 21, 20, 19, and get to 19 as our answer that way. I think that's a fine strategy. But for this particular one, we're going to talk about taking all from the tens. The reason we're going to do that is because we can't take 3 from the ones. There are not 3 here in the ones place, so we can't take all 3 from here. So instead, let's expand this again. We're going to think of taking 3 from here. If we take 3 from 20, as I'm going to do here, we're left with 17. And we also have this 2 that we started with. So my final answer is going to be 17 plus 2, which is 19. And indeed, that's the same answer we got before. Notice we will always get the same answer no matter what strategy we use because math is awesome like that. But there are many different ways to think of it.